Alright everyone, today's video is going to be on more monster design. It's going to be going over one of the roles of the heavy, the bruiser, the tank, the damage sponge, however you want to call it. It's going to be going over that role of the frontliner that's protecting the party. And one interesting way to look at it is you can look at it from the perspective of applying pressure, right? So if you're familiar with games like Hearthstone or chess or Magic the Gathering or something like that, or Gwent even, when you're keeping up the pressure, you're playing aggro minions, or in chess you're making aggressive moves that put your opponent on the back foot and make them desperate in the situation. You know, you're pressing in for the lethal move in Hearthstone, or you're upping the damage, or you're doing something to keep them on the reactive footing, on the defensive footing. You're putting pressure, right? So in Dungeons and Dragons, when you're making your heavies, your bruisers, one way you can look at it is, well, I want this guy to deal a ton of damage, and I want him to be a damage sponge. I want him to take a lot of hits. Now, his armor class doesn't need to be that high, so remember, guys, tanks and damage sponges are different. So a damage sponge can take a hit after a hit after a hit after a hit and keep on coming. It's a glutton for punishment. Whereas a tank doesn't get hit very much, and whenever he does get hit, he can take hits too, just like a damage sponge. But you know, the tank is designed to have a high armor class as well. Now, it's kind of a more broad term than that, but that's how I prefer to look at it from my monster building. So let's say I wanted a character who could apply pressure to the enemies we're facing while keeping the squishies in the back safe. So we would want someone who's fast. We would want someone who can proc a lot of opportunity attacks. I shouldn't say we want someone who can take a lot of opportunity attacks. So something with the Sentinel feat. Sentinel is actually really great because of all the attacks that it gets. Sentinel. That's the one. So, you know, we want to throw on this kind of feats and abilities that will make it more able to get out there and charge without fear of the allies in the back getting destroyed. Because if you get through the enemy lines and you get to the squishies in one turn, well, then the enemy heavies, and this is kind of oversimplification, but the enemy heavies are going to have to face you, and while they're whacking away at your wall of hit points, you're destroying the enemy wizard so he can't cast any more fireballs, and then you're turning onto the rogue and you're cleaving his head off so that he can't fire any more sharpshooter shots, and then you turn around and it's just you. Let's say you're at half health. Let's say you've taken 50% damage from this encounter. You're at half health, and you've got two fully pumped tanks in front of you. But you've got all of your support in the back. They can't target that because they'll take so many attacks of opportunity from you, and you've already taken out their support. So you're at a huge tactical advantage here. Now, this is a vast oversimplification, and it's not a very likely scenario of what exactly will happen is that the heavy just charges through the lines, right? But that's kind of the idea behind, I'm going to call it the Linebreaker type monster. I'll call this how to make a Linebreaker D&D 5e, right? So the Linebreaker, he's going to get through the enemy lines, and he's going to attack the heavies. Now, from a DM perspective, what do we want from this monster? Well, we want him to be able to get past our barbarians. We want him to get past our sentinel characters. We want him to get past our fighters with 18 attacks. We want him to get past that to be able to target the mages. So what abilities are we going to put on him? Well, he's got to have a high speed. He's got to have a good amount of hit points. I'm thinking something like a barbarian here. So we'll build this live on the stream too, or not a stream, but we'll build it during this video, and I'll do it in one shoot just for you guys. So we want this creature to kind of be like slippery like an eel. So, you know, he's got to be able to get past the heavies and then to the mage without being stopped. So we're going to give him a charge ability. If he moves 20 feet forward, or if he moves 20 feet in a straight line, he'll not proc opportunity attacks for that round. And then so he'll be able to go past, and then we'll also give him aggressive, so he can dash as a bonus action. So he's aggressive, he's a charger. This is already a great Linebreaker. He's gonna have a low armor class, I'm feeling, because he's gotta have very light armor to charge in. And we don't want to make him a barbarian per se, because that would just be kind of ripping off a class. So let's make him an orc with the aggressive feat, and with the aggressive feature, I should say, and we'll also give him that charger feature. So he's gonna charge the enemy lines, and so he's gonna have, I'm gonna say like an armor class of 13. We'll give him, because he's gonna be able to stand up some punishment, we'll give him 100 hit points. Depending on the party level, that hit points would change. I think the armor class is going to stay pretty low at 13 because he's a damage sponge, right? He's not a tank. He's not invulnerable. He's a damage sponge, and he's a Linebreaker. So he's gonna use his incredible speed that we get him from the aggressive trait and from the charge trait, and so he'll just get right past. And then let's say he has a reaction that's a charge ability. So I don't know if you guys, or is it a recharge ability? I don't remember what exactly the verbiage is, but there's abilities like Dragon's Breath and Leadership that recharge on a d6. So it's got basically the ability, and then it says recharge. It's got a number range. So then you roll a d6 after you use the ability, and if you roll high enough, you recharge, and in return you re-roll to see if it charges up. So we'll say he's got a reaction attack against mages. Whenever they cast a spell, he can take a full attack action as a reaction, and then this recharges on a 5 or a 6. So now he's a really good mage slayer, but how's he going to do rogue? Let's say he has Deft Strike. So whenever he lands a hit on a rogue can't use their uncanny dodge that lets them take half damage. So now he's a really good Linebreaker. He's specialized in charging through the enemy lines, boom, because of his charger and his aggressive. And so, he'll get through the enemy lines, and then he will take his attack action, and then when the wizard and the rogue try and counter him, the wizard will get an attack of opportunity. When the rogue tries and dodge, the rogue will take full damage. So now we've created a really good monster for getting through the enemy lines, and let's call him let's just call him the Orc Linebreaker, right? Because he's an Orc and he's a Linebreaker. So the Orc Linebreaker. And he'll wield 2 axes, so he'll be one of the few dual weapon wielding monsters, no magical attacks, and we'll give him, he shouldn't have too high of damage. Let's just say he's got max strength with the Savage Attacker feat, so whenever he rolls his damage, he gets to reroll one of them. See, that's not very good for GMs though, so let's just give him a bonus damage. Let's give him the bonus rage damage. He can't be a barbarian though, because that'd be 2 on the nose. So we'll give him let's say bonus damage equal to his proficiency, and we'll make him a 5th level player with proficiency. So we'll give him 3 proficiency. So he's gonna swing in for 1d8 plus 8, and then another d8 plus 8. So if you take the averages, that's 13 per strike, and then we'll give him a plus 8 to hit. So that's a pretty good monster, and it's a good example of the archetypal Linebreaker, which you can use in your own games if you have some mages that are causing problems in the back, some rogues that are causing in the back, or if this is a logical monster, because you don't just want to throw, here's a pro tip, you don't just want to throw monsters specifically counter your party, you want to have monsters that are logical for both the dungeon and the campaign. So as I've said in my other videos, in my campaign world of 7 stars, it was tainted by aberrant magic, so there's a lot of aberrant creatures around, right? So that's a logical creature to throw in, or in the north, not in the north, but above, north of Ihend, there's hill giants. So hill giants and giant type monsters are logical ones to throw in. So you want to have, yes, monsters that can stand up to your party, but they should also be logical monsters, and you don't want to throw the Orc Linebreaker every combat, because that's just not going to feel very good, and it does take a little bit more work. But like, I made this just now, this is my first shoot of this video, and I just came up with this while we're talking, so you can do it, you can definitely do it. And it was a simple monster, but my point is it didn't take that long to prep, and it's going to enrich your game. So pro tip, have logical monsters and don't just build monsters specifically to counter your party. Alright, so here's what you guys do. I want you to share and subscribe so that everyone can see this video, and I want you to comment down below and in my Discord about some of your favorite homebrew monsters you've made and some of the toughest combats your party's ever had. But anyways, goodbye, good luck, and have fun in your games.